Imagine for a moment a time when mighty civilizations ruled the Mediterranean, a time when the shores of this vast sea were dotted with thriving cities, bustling ports and monumental palaces. The Mediterranean was not just a body of water, it was the lifeblood of an interconnected world, a highway of trade, culture and power. Egypt's pharaohs commanded vast armies, their power stretching across deserts and rivers. These rulers were not just kings, they were seen as gods on earth, wielding divine authority over their people. The Hittite kings forged an empire across Anatolia, their influence reaching far and wide. They were master diplomats and warriors, negotiating treaties and waging wars to secure their dominance. Mycenaean palaces glittered with gold, a testament to their wealth and artistic prowess. These were the homes of legendary kings, whose tales would echo through the ages in epic poems and myths. This was the late Bronze Age, an era of vibrant trade, cultural exchange, and powerful kingdoms. Ships crisscrossed the Mediterranean, carrying goods, ideas, and people, weaving a tapestry of interconnected civilizations. Yet within just a few short decades, this world would crumble. Cities that had stood for centuries were reduced to rubble. The intricate web of trade and diplomacy unraveled, leaving behind a fragmented and chaotic landscape. From the shadows, a mysterious force emerged: the Sea Peoples. They appeared suddenly, like a storm on the horizon, their arrival marking the beginning of the end for the great powers of the late Bronze Age. Who were these enigmatic seafarers? Their sudden appearance and devastating impact have puzzled historians for centuries. Were they a single group, or a coalition of different peoples united by a common cause? Their origins remain shrouded in mist, their motives a matter of debate. Some suggest they were displaced by natural disasters or famine, while others believe they were driven by ambition and conquest. Were they pirates, refugees, invaders, or agents of change? Perhaps they were all of these, a complex and multifaceted force that defies simple categorization. Their very name, given to them by their enemies, speaks of their maritime nature. The Sea Peoples were masters of the waves, their ships swift and deadly, capable of striking without warning. They swept across the Mediterranean, leaving chaos and destruction in their wake. Coastal cities burned, and once thriving communities were abandoned as the Sea Peoples advanced. What we know of the Sea Peoples comes from fragmented accounts. Ancient inscriptions and artifacts offer glimpses into their story, but much remains unknown. Egyptian inscriptions depict them as fierce warriors, armed with swords, spears, and round shields. They were a formidable enemy, challenging even the mightiest armies of the time. They arrived in a wave of migrations, challenging the established order and forever altering the course of history. Their movements reshaped the political and cultural landscape of the Mediterranean. Their story is one of collapse and renewal, a pivotal chapter in the human story. The fall of the late Bronze Age civilizations paved the way for new powers to rise, setting the stage for the Iron Age. The late Bronze Age collapse, often linked to the Sea Peoples, stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of civilization. It shows how interconnected systems can unravel under the weight of internal and external pressures. It is a tale of interconnectedness, of how even the mightiest empires can fall, victims of both internal strife and external pressures. The collapse of this era serves as a cautionary tale for our own interconnected world. The echoes of their passage still resonate, urging us to unravel the secrets of their time. By studying their story, we gain insights into the resilience and vulnerability of human societies, lessons that remain relevant to this day. The Sea Peoples were not a monolithic entity. They were a mosaic of cultures, languages, and traditions, bound together by circumstances that remain shrouded in mystery. Inscriptions and imagery suggest a confederation of distinct groups, each contributing their unique identity to this enigmatic alliance. These groups likely had varied reasons for joining the upheaval, some seeking survival, others perhaps driven by ambition or necessity. Some, like the Shurden, are depicted wearing horned helmets and carrying round shields, a striking image that has captured the imagination of historians and archaeologists alike. Others, like the Luca, are believed to have been skilled archers hailing from the rugged coastal regions of Anatolia, their expertise in warfare making them formidable allies or adversaries. Among these groups, the Philistines stand out as perhaps the most well-known. They settled on the Levantine coast, leaving a lasting mark on the region's history and culture. Their presence is confirmed not only through archaeological findings, such as distinctive pottery styles, but also in biblical texts, which provide additional context to their story. The origins of the Philistines are a subject of ongoing debate. However, their material culture, including pottery and architectural styles, suggests strong connections to the Aegean world, hinting at a complex web of migration and cultural exchange. Adding to the puzzle, some scholars propose that the Sea Peoples may have included displaced populations fleeing upheaval in their own homelands, victims of natural disasters, political turmoil, or economic collapse. Natural disasters such as earthquakes or prolonged droughts combined with climate change could have rendered their homelands uninhabitable, forcing them to seek new territories and resources. The collapse of civilizations during this period might not have been solely driven by invasion. Instead, it appears to have been the result of a complex interplay of factors, including internal conflicts, resource scarcity, and environmental pressures. The true identities and motives of the Sea Peoples remain elusive, hidden behind fragmented evidence and incomplete records. Were they marauding invaders driven by a lust for plunder, desperate migrants searching for new homes, or a combination of both? The answer may lie somewhere in between. The evidence we have is tantalizingly incomplete, leaving ample room for speculation and interpretation. Each new discovery adds a piece to the puzzle, but the full picture remains out of reach. The story of the Sea Peoples highlights the challenges of piecing together the past. It is a reminder of how fragile our understanding of history can be, especially when dealing with a period of such dramatic transformation and upheaval. Yet it is in this fragility that the story of the Sea Peoples becomes all the more compelling, a testament to human resilience, adaptation, and the enduring quest for survival in the face of overwhelming odds. The late Bronze Age world was a network of interconnected kingdoms and empires. Trade routes crisscrossed the Mediterranean, carrying goods, ideas, and people. Yet this interconnectedness also created vulnerabilities. When one part of the system weakened, the ripple effects could be devastating. The Hittite Empire, centered in Anatolia, was among the first to crumble. Their once mighty cities lay in ruins, sacked and burned. The Mycenaean palaces of Greece followed, their intricate frescoes now hidden beneath layers of rubble. The reasons for their demise are complex and multifaceted, but the Sea Peoples undoubtedly played a role. The collapse of these empires had a domino effect. Trade networks were disrupted, economies faltered, and political systems destabilized. The world of the late Bronze Age, once seemingly secure in its prosperity, was teetering on the brink. The Sea Peoples did not act in isolation. Internal strife, economic woes, and possibly even climate change all contributed to the unraveling of the established order. The late Bronze Age collapse serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that even the most advanced civilizations are not immune to the forces of history. Of all the great powers of the late Bronze Age, Egypt faced perhaps the most direct and sustained confrontation with the enigmatic Sea Peoples. These mysterious invaders, whose origins remain a topic of debate among historians, posed a grave threat to the stability of the ancient world. For Egypt, the stakes were particularly high, as the kingdom's very survival hung in the balance. Pharaoh Merneptah, the successor to the legendary Ramesses II, found himself at the forefront of this existential struggle. In a pivotal battle near the Nile Delta, Merneptah faced a coalition of Sea Peoples who sought to carve out a foothold in Egyptian territory. The battle was fierce, with Egyptian chariots and infantry clashing against the invaders in a desperate bid to protect their homeland. Egyptian inscriptions from this period proudly proclaim a decisive victory. They describe how Merneptah's forces utterly routed the invaders, driving them back and securing Egypt's borders. These records, etched into stone, were meant to immortalize the pharaoh's triumph and reassure the Egyptian people of their kingdom's strength. However, the very fact that the Sea Peoples managed to penetrate so deeply into Egyptian territory underscores the severity of the threat they posed. This was not a minor skirmish but a full-scale invasion that tested Egypt's military and political resilience. Decades later, during the reign of Ramesses III, the Sea Peoples returned with even greater force. This time, their assault was more coordinated and devastating, as they attacked Egypt by both land and sea. Their targets included the fertile Nile Delta and the strategic Levantine coast, regions critical to Egypt's prosperity and security. The Sea Peoples' naval forces were particularly formidable, with their swift ships and skilled warriors wreaking havoc along the coastlines. On land, their relentless advance threatened to overwhelm Egyptian defenses. The situation was dire. and the kingdom's survival once again depended on the strength and strategy of its pharaoh. Ramesses III rose to the challenge, leading his troops in a series of desperate and grueling battles. Against all odds, he managed to repel the invaders, securing Egypt's borders and preserving its sovereignty. His victories were celebrated as monumental achievements, a testament to the resilience and determination of the Egyptian people. Yet these victories came at a tremendous cost. The battles left Egypt's military and economy severely strained. The kingdom emerged from the conflict weakened, its resources depleted and its people exhausted. The scars of these struggles were visible in the crumbling ruins and the weary faces of its soldiers. The cost of repelling the Sea Peoples was not just measured in lives lost, but also in the kingdom's diminished capacity to maintain its former glory. Internal strife, economic challenges, and the strain of constant warfare took a heavy toll on Egypt's stability and prosperity. The once mighty empire found itself struggling to adapt to a rapidly changing world. While Egypt managed to survive the tumultuous period of the late Bronze Age collapse, it was no longer the dominant power it had once been. Its golden age, marked by monumental achievements and unparalleled influence, was slowly fading into memory. The Egyptian struggle against the Sea Peoples remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of even the greatest civilizations. The late Bronze Age collapse wasn't just a single event, it was a period of widespread upheaval and transformation that lasted for several generations. The world that emerged from the ashes was vastly different from the one that had come before it. The old empires were gone, replaced by new kingdoms and power structures. The collapse had a profound impact on art, architecture, and technology. The elaborate palaces of the Mycenaeans gave way to simpler, more modest structures. The art of the late Bronze Age, often known for its grandeur and sophistication, became more stylized and, well, less elaborate. Even writing systems like Linear B used by the Mycenaeans vanished, leading to a decline in literacy. The late Bronze Age collapse marked a turning point in ancient history. It was a time of chaos and destruction, but also a time of resilience and adaptation. From the ruins of the old world, new societies emerged, laying the foundation for the rise of classical Greece and the Iron Age.